Hello, welcome back. Back in the Sperrins once again, and first of all, apologies for the last video. If you've seen that walk where I was up in Benevna, which is about 4 weeks ago now, I was very grumpy. Oh, I wasn't having a good day. Just to give you a wee bit of a life update, about 3 or 4 weeks before that walk, I got laid off at work. And I was just in the process of going through interviews and waiting on offers from jobs. I had 2 jobs that I'd applied for that I was quite confident I was going to get an offer from both of them. And that weekend I was kind of waiting on those offers to come through. So it probably wasn't the best weekend to go out for a hike and to video it. I thought I would go out and clear my head and take my mind off things. But that didn't work. It worked a bit, but no, when the walk started going wrong and things started going wrong on it, I didn't react to it very positively. So yeah, well, on the good side of things and the good news, I got one of the jobs, actually got offered both the jobs, and I've accepted one of them. And I'm now about 4 weeks into that new job, so much happier, much more relaxed, and hopefully a bit more positive. And hopefully for you, a bit more interesting to watch on camera and a wee bit more enjoyable to watch on camera. Today I'm back in the Sperrin Mountains again. I was in the Sperrin Mountains for Benevna, but I'm in a very different part of it this time. I'm currently sitting halfway up a hill in the middle of Inishcarn Forest on my way up to the top of Slieve Gallion, which sits sort of between Magherafelt and Draperstown. I'll pop a wee map up on the screen here just so that you can see exactly where it is. But this is a lovely walk. I did it before about 15 years ago, well, at least 15 years ago. It was a walk that was in a booklet I'd come across somewhere called Landscapes in Stone or Landscapes of Stone. Again, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'll pop it up on the screen and put it in the description down below. But that walk starts off down in the Inishkarn car park at the entrance to the forest, winds in through the forest and then on the main forest track, which I'm on now, and takes you up to the northeast top of Slieve Gallion. It's changed slightly since the last time I was here, because at that time you used to have to veer off and do a bit of bushwhacking out onto the edge of the forest and then climb up the edge of the forest up through some grazing land to reach the northeast top. But since then there's been a transmitter tower put on top and the road has been extended right up to the northeast top now. So I'm going to be able to follow that the whole way. Which is quite easy walking in terms of terrain and navigation finding, but it's still quite steep. This forest is just straight up the side of Slieve Gallion, so very interesting. That time was way before digital maps and so on like that. I did have decent maps of the area, but what I had done and what was my habit at the time was I had printed off a map just showing the walk, laminated it and had it in my bag. So that I could route find as I was going along, and I actually didn't realise that there's 2 summits in Slieve Gallion. So there's the Slieve Gallion northeast top, which I'm going to come to first and which I visited the last time, and then there's the actual main Slieve Gallion summit itself then, which is about, I think it's about half a kilometre away from the northeast top. So the plan today is to tick off both of those and then rejoin the track that I would have done before and follow that back down a different route through some quiet little laneways, back on down to the road and back over to the start of the forest again. So I'm really enjoying it so far. The first couple of kilometres of this walk is lovely. Although Inishkarn is very much a coniferous forest, Forestry Service Northern Ireland have planted it out on the edge of the forest, on the right as you come in the gate. If you follow the little rough track into the right, it takes you straight into the trees and over towards that edge of the forest, where there is quite an extensive deciduous strip that runs along the side of Inishcarn Forest itself. I'd say it most likely predates the coniferous forest by quite a bit. It's a lovely mixture of woodland. A lot of it's beech and some oak mixed in with it as well, and it follows along the little stream that runs down the side of the forest coming down off the hill. So it's a really, really nice place to walk, because judging by the car park here this morning, this is quite a busy forest. There's a play area just as you come in the gate, and that was quite busy with kids really enjoying themselves today, so it was nice to see that. But I'd say this forest also gets a lot of dog walkers, a lot of people just out for a Sunday walk and everything. So it's almost lunchtime now on Sunday. It's almost 12 o'clock on a Sunday morning. So The weather's been fantastic all week, so I'd say people have been looking forward to getting out in the woods and up the side of the hill today. Weather-wise, it's not kind of what I expected and what I was hoping for. We've been getting a bit of an Indian summer this week. It's been warm and quite bright and sunny all week. And yesterday and today was to be the end of that sort of nice, warm, sunny spell. And I was hoping to make the most of that on the hill today. But the forecast was fine up until about last night. Looked at it this morning again, and it's given very much a cloudy day today. But it's more hazy cloud. It's nice. On the drive in, Slieve Gallion was covered in cloud. So coming through the forest there, coming through that wooded area, the sun was trying to break through at times, and it has brightened up a wee bit. I've been very optimistic here with my sunglasses on me, but it's still quite bright. I'm hoping that it clears completely and I get some nice views from the top of Slieve Gallion. But it's still nice to get this kind of weather at this time of the year. There's hardly a breath of wind, which I think is why the weather has changed. There's been no wind to blow the cloud away, so it'll make a nice change to be on the top of the hill and not get the head blown off me. This is a lovely wee spot to sit here, just sitting. There's a wee stream gurgling behind me. I'm looking across the forest road here at the tall coniferous trees. You can hear the birds singing. It's a wee rest bench that's been put here, and I'll show you the sign on it, but it's a lovely thought. They've done quite a bit of work here in Inishkarn since the last time I was here, so it really is encouraging people to get out into the outdoors and enjoy themselves, and to make the most of it. Could sit here all day. Then just go back down the hill again. Anyway, no, I better get up the top of this mountain. Wouldn't take much to convince me otherwise. Just sit here for a couple of hours, have my lunch, and then walk back down again. It's lovely. Anyway, better go. Rest in peace, Ronnie. Probably worse places to die. But rest in peace. Pretty much done now. That was quite a good walk. And the sun's out. Don't know if you can see it up in the sky there or not. Don't know what the camera's going to bring out. Probably going to show nothing now because I'm walking with the sun behind me, but anyway. So I made it up to the top of the northeast top and then worked my way over to Slieve Gallion itself. So that was the one that I had missed out the last time I did this walk. A few differences in 15 years. Don't remember the towers on the top of the hill. There's also a large cross just beside the summit cairn, and it seems to be part of some crosswalk or something like that. Some religious, I suppose, Stations of the Cross type thing. I'm not sure. Couldn't see any more information on it, but there's like a marker post there as well. And then once you get to the top of Slieve Gallion, you kind of work your way back towards the road that goes up to the towers, and then you follow that for a kilometre and a half, and that brings you on to, you can then come onto this wee small lane that I'm on now, and kind of wind my way down these lanes down into back down to where I parked the car at the entrance to Inishcarn Forest. So I have 13 kilometres done now. I figure I have about 3 more left to do. Oh dear, bit of a problem here now, I think. Turn you around and show you. This looks to be a private lane. Not sure what to do about this now, because if I go the other way it's going to add miles and miles to the day. Damn. I think I'm going to risk it. Definitely remember coming down this way before. It's definitely marked on the map that this is the way I came down before too. And yeah, I'm going to batter on. Hopefully I don't get into too much hassle. Plead ignorance, I suppose. Beg forgiveness. They seem reasonably welcoming of walkers around here, but let's see how we get on. There's a guy coming on a quad here now, but I had to keep going anyway and hope for the best. I'm not going to be on this lane for very long. I think the guy in the quad went round a different way. Seems to be probably working down at one of the farms down there, so I'm hoping either I can get off this track before he comes back around, or that if he does come back around that he doesn't mind. I'm basically going to apologise quite a lot, and hopefully that gets me at any hassle. I'm not going to be on for much longer anyway, so don't see why it'd be a problem. But I'm positive this is the way I came before. 100% positive this is the way I came before. So unless he's decided to close this lane off, or the farmer decided to close this lane off and make it into a private road, which I'm not sure if he's allowed to do either, but anyway. Looking over at Inishkarn Forest over there now to my left. See if you can see it just in the break. That's it, just up there. So I came up through there earlier on. I thought the bit that I hadn't walked before the last time was actually an access road for the towers, but it's not. The forestry service have cut a pathway up through the trees, taking you up the side of the hill, and it's a really nice path to walk as well. Quite rocky in places where water runoff has worn away the path, but it's lovely in amongst the big trees. Very sheltered, trees almost touching above your head. Quite moody, I suppose is the phrase I'm looking for. Quite atmospheric, but very, very nice. and very enjoyable. And that brought me out very close to the summit, the top of the forest, and then you pick up a rough path across the heather, and that brings you over onto the tarmac road that does go up to the towers. So follow that up to the towers, and then the summit was just behind those. And as I said, come back then to come down along the track, or the path, the road, and then to get the Slieve Gallion summit itself, just come down along the road and then took a rough path that heads across the heath, or the heather, the actual mountain, it's open mountain itself, and over toward the trig point in the summit. So I had lunch just before the trig point, because there was a group just ahead of me and they had stopped up at the trig point, so I didn't want to be either hassling them, and obviously I wanted to film myself at the trig point as well. So they kind of finished their lunch just before I got finished. By the time I was done, they were away, so I had the summit of Slieve Gallion to myself. Big rookie error today. I've brought 2 water bottles with me, but I put juice in both of them. Oh, no water for tea. I have the water filter with me, but there's absolutely no water to be got. And once I was out of the forest, I knew there was no water to be got. And I was well out of the forest before I realised my mistake. And anywhere then on the hillside where there was water to be got, it was fairly stagnant water, and I didn't fancy drinking out of it because there's a lot of sheep up there, and I didn't know what was in the water and whether my filter would remove it. So I'm absolutely gasping for a cup of tea now. Anyway, I hope I make it back to the car here now without getting into any bother for trespassing on private property. But this has been really enjoyable, and much better than my trip to Benevna last month. So as always, thanks for coming along and joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing what Slieve Gallion has to offer, even though it was mostly cloudy today and there weren't any great views. It was still a really nice walk and I enjoyed it a lot, so I hope you did too. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Got my tea, got my biscuits, all good.